All right, our final segment of the afternoon here. You guys are listening to ESPN Northwest Florida, riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes, along with Johnny Yankee Seed. We've got Caveman Rick, and we also have Noah and Rich in the building with us, and they are here to help you guys get your gloves fixed, man. I know that, well, not only fix them, but also make them things look flashy and fly with Glove Refresh, which you guys are based out of Tallahassee. We'll get that mic turned on for you. And that was Rich there. So out of Tallahassee, let me ask you this. What made you want to get into recuperating gloves?
Well, it's just, I was wanting to start a business a couple of years ago, and I was just trying to think of what it was I wanted to do, and that was just something I had more knowledge of than just an ordinary person, so I decided to run with it.
Yeah, man, and so one thing I would recommend you guys to do is go check out their Facebook page, and you'll get lost in the sauce of the reels, man. I mean, you guys do a great job with your content, and it had, I probably watched like 20 in a row, and then I click on it and go and I'm like, well, these guys are just an hour and a half from here. So where are you guys going to be tomorrow afternoon?
We'll be at Publix Sports Park tomorrow for the WSL World Series.
There you go. So, which is a big event around here, and there's going to be a lot of people with a lot of gloves. But what would be your favorite thing? Like, what's your favorite part of the process when you're relacing these gloves, when you're fixing these things? Is it the finished product? Is it the breaking down of it? What is it for you?
I really like just like the small details of like putting the tensioning on the lace and stuff like that, because that really just gives it the nice shape to it. Because you can go too tight on it and like, just make it to where it's not going to want to move, or you can have it loose and floppy where it's all over the place. But just getting that nice perfect tension on everything, making sure the shape is perfect on it, it's really, really satisfying.
What about for you?
Well, I always like breaking them in, and because people will tell us exactly how they want it, a lot of different details and stuff, and so be able to customize it for them. And breaking in the glove has been such a tough process for me, especially growing up. Yeah. And now we got a good system to do it fast, and so I always like doing it the best we can for them.
How much has technology helped out with that? Because back in the day, I guess there was oil, there was put it in the oven for crying out loud, so many different things. And for me, it was always, I never got it the way that I wanted unless it was just playing catch. You know what I mean? And just continuously doing that. But are there better methods these days? Yeah, so I will give you two things. One of them, it's pretty much free. The other one, not so much. So when I was looking into figuring out the best way to do break-ins, with leather, there's fibers in there, and like putting oil and cream on it, loosens it up slightly, but doesn't really do the full job. Yeah. You really got to work the leather and massage it and knead it, like really move it around. And doing it by hand, obviously you can do it, but it's going to wear you out. And so I actually found out that you could get a pneumatic press where it's just air powered. So you get a cylinder, obviously get a head to put on the end of it, and then it just does the work for you. So you just sit there tapping your foot on the pedal, and with the press coming down, you can get it loosened up real easily that way. So that way you can do gloves all day long and not get tired. And then the second part to that is using water. So that temporarily loosens up the fibers to where you can kind of stretch it and mold it to whatever shape you want to. And then, stick it over a nice little fan to let it dry, and then it holds the shape that it dries in. So it needs a little bit of working back in after it dries, but it is very nice. Yeah, and for those of you listening right now, go check out Glove Refresh on Facebook, and you will see exactly what he's talking about with the pneumatic press there. What's for you guys? What's been the favorite glove, like your favorite glove that you've ever done?
Yeah, so we had some gloves come in a few months ago. Like a Nakona Edge X, right? Yeah. How much are those? How much are those, Rich?
There's a range. I think like a cheap one is like $900, but then you get a custom one that's like $1,600.
Yeah. So just the fact that I got to hold one of those, because like my gloves growing up, like I had some okay gloves, but nothing ever like super crazy, or especially like youth age. But like to have a glove like that and like work on it, just like use it, like maybe play some catch with it too, because it's kind of part of the break-in process, right? It was just so cool.
Man, what about for you, Rich?
I've really fallen in love with just the Japanese gloves. Like the leather and the laces that they use, like it comes stiffer, but I swear they're like water activated, because once you dunk them and start working them, they just turn into Play-Doh. You can form them however you want to. The pockets are always so nice on them, and the leather on them seems to be a little bit thinner but a little bit stiffer, and so it makes it actually a little bit more lightweight. But once it's worked in properly, they are so nice.
So with you guys, being able to work with so many different gloves, does it make like the Wilson A2K is like That's a lot of people would say that's, top of the line or whatever, and it's like, no, that's far from it.
Honestly, they are very quality, but you just see them every day, and so they just get to, they're not really special just because you see so many of them.
What is the do you enjoy working with baseball gloves or softball gloves more? Is there really not a difference? It's just a kind of different process, maybe?
I would say that there is more of a demand for the baseball gloves, and so more companies are working towards that, and so you have more people competing, and so they have a little bit of a higher product, whereas softball, you don't have that much, and so, I don't know, there's just not that many softball options out there.
Gotcha.
What about different gloves, like a first baseman's glove or a catcher's glove versus like an outfielder's glove or something like that? A catcher's glove's got to be a little bit more difficult, a lot more meat there, a lot more leather, if you will.
Yeah. So yeah, the break-in on the catcher's mitts, if you're doing those by hand, those are definitely the hardest to break in, because most gloves you're just working the leather, whereas catcher's mitts you're having to do more of the padding. But honestly, with the pneumatic press, they're honestly all about the same on that. Obviously, you're not doing it by hand; it's the machine. So, but yeah, there are slightly different ways to do each one.
Man, so cool. And how did you end up meeting Rich and this whole process getting going?
So I met Rich by chance, and so it kind of worked out because I have my own baseball social media stuff that I do. I've been doing for a few years now, and so I met Rich completely by chance, and then wanted to help him out with social media, and then just started learning about the whole business. But I'm a realtor, and I was trying to sell some land right next to his house, and I was flying a drone.
He's trespassing in my yard.
His mom came out, started freaking out, what are you doing? And then Rich came out because I was wearing baseball stuff.
Yeah, I was like, what's this guy doing? He looks old enough to... he shouldn't be playing baseball, but he's in full baseball gear. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah. And so he came out, and then I told him I play in a men's league or whatever. And then he showed me his shop. He's like, well, you got to check this out. And then right from there, I started just coming over all the time, and then started working with him, and it's been great ever since. So
man, that is really cool. And so you had this basically just started out of your garage, out of your house?
So it's still in the 2-car garage now.
Oh, really?
We're pretty much maxing it out. I've been looking for spaces, but we haven't really found one that makes sense yet. But yeah, we're making it work in the 2-car garage still.
And so what should people look for tomorrow? You guys are going to be over there at Publix Sports Park. Is there, I'm sure you have a tent and all of that good stuff?
Yeah, so we got the booth. We're set up for all services. So if you need a full refresh, cleaning and everything, or, all new laces, and we got the glove smasher out there too. So pretty much anything you need, we can get it done.
How long should a customer expect until they get their glove back from you? What's the average time?
Yeah, so when we're out there at tournaments, we try to do everything same day. If there's no wait, we can do a break-in in 30 minutes, a full relace, about hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. But you gotta, earlier in the day, the better, because people start, dropping off gloves, and then we start getting backed up.
Man, I'm checking out the page again right now, and it's cool to see you guys here in person, in front of us. But man, one of the things is I would have never imagined, I've never taken a glove apart, the way that I'm seeing some of these gloves taken apart, and just the whole entire process. And so you guys also do cleanings as well for gloves?
Yeah. Yep. So we got leather cleaner tool.
Yeah.
It's definitely a lot easier to clean a glove once it's fully taken apart. So that's when we like to do the deep cleaning on them.
Man.
Have you guys ever done a really antique, super old glove from it's 100 years old, or maybe something from a famous baseball player or anything like that?
I wish we had some from famous baseball players. We've got a couple
we had an MLB guy sending one glove.
But as far as the older ones, not so much. And we actually stopped doing those because they're a little bit tougher to work on. The lacing patterns back in the day, they were still experimenting with what was the best option.
Yeah.
And so there's some crazy stuff out there. And also some of the older ones, you got to be careful, because once you start tearing them apart, they could actually fall apart to where you can't get it back together. And so when I'm trying to train new people on how to do gloves, I don't really want to deal with older gloves falling apart and all that stuff. So we stick to gloves that are within the last 30 years is what we try to stay with. But in the past, we did everything.
So that's kind of when someone is new to breaking in gloves, you hire a new employee, and for you it's secondhand, right? You've been doing it for so long. What is that process like? How long does it take someone to get good at breaking a glove in? And then I got to ask the same question for Noah. How long did it take you to get good at it?
So the break-ins are fairly easy. You can get somebody pretty good on those about a week, 2 weeks. The relacing is the one that's a little bit tougher, because that just comes from getting reps in, which takes a lot of time, because there's a lot of different gloves out there. And that's something I'm still learning how to do, is train people to relace gloves, because I think I've only taught, maybe 4 people so far or something like that. So that's still a skill I'm having to learn as well.
What was the toughest part for you learning relacing or breaking in, whatever it may be?
Well, like you said, the break-in isn't too hard to figure out, because you got the press and it's doing a lot of the work for you. So I pick up on that pretty quick, and whenever I'm helping out like on gloves at the shop, it's usually doing break-ins, because relacing, like I still I've done a couple gloves entirely by myself, but like not in the same day. Like Rich can do, like he said, like a full relace at like the tournament, like an hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. Like for me, just it's so complex coming from like just a normal person's standpoint. Like I'm like you guys, like who don't have any knowledge really, like Rich does, because he's been doing it for years. Like I asked him the other day, he said he's done like 1,000 gloves. So I've done like 3 or 4 completely, and then there's also like different sections. So like, and some are easier than others. So like earlier back in the day when I was helping out a lot more in the shop, now I'm more like social media stuff. But like I could do a couple easy sections and then pass it on to someone who knows more about like the more complex stuff, right? So
with relacing a glove, is it all one single piece of lace, and then you're using that piece of lace for the entire glove, or do you or is it different section? I'm assuming since you said sections, it would be different sections.
Yeah, so for a basic fielding mitt, like just a standard iWeb, has about 7 sections on it, and the strands of lace that they come in are 72-inch sections by 3/16 wide.
Gotcha.
And so you start with that full strand. Usually that'll get you like maybe the first 3 sections, and then you got to go grab another one. But you end up like clipping up those 72-inch strands to do whatever you need to.
Let's say someone, they're listening to this segment. They can catch it on Facebook later, and they're listening to it. I mean, you guys are already back in Tallahassee. Can they send you gloves? Does it work like that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would honestly say that like 90% of the work that we do now is all from online orders.
Wow.
So yeah, shipping in is very easy. Our turnaround time for most stuff is between 5 to 12 days. So pretty quick for full shipping and everything. But yeah, we do a lot of that.
Mm-hmm. It's awesome, like to the whole mailing process, because it'll be like. We've had like 70 gloves at once in the shop.
Wow. And I think that was the busiest week we've had so
that was
far.
probably like the max, gloves, right? But it's super easy, because like if someone places an order, we just email them like a shipping label. They put it in a box, take it to the post office, and we send it right back to them after we finish it.
I'd imagine your busiest time of year is probably in spring, like right before baseball, right?
Yeah, so it's still kind of weird. So we're still fairly new to this, so I don't really have a whole lot of years to compare stuff. Because the first year I was starting from 0 and growing, so every month was getting busier. And then like the second year, we switched from kind of doing tournaments to strictly online. And so that's still been growing each month, so you don't really have like a consistent full year to really look at. But I would say that December through February is the slower time. The rest of it's kind of even.
Man, this has been a lot of fun. So Glove Refresh, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening, and they are going to be at Publix Sports Park tomorrow all day long, or how long can they expect you guys to be there?
Yeah, we'll be out there all day.
Will you be there all weekend?
Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday then. So that's for the WSL tournament that's going on here in Panama City. Hopefully Johnny Yankee is going to have those fields out there at Frank Brown ready to go. But go check out Glove Refresh here with Noah and Rich. Man, you guys, this has been a lot of fun. We've only got a minute left. So baseball, do you guys, who's your pro teams?
Oh, geez. I honestly don't watch a whole lot of the sport.
You're too busy relacing the gloves, huh?
But when I was, it was the Dodgers.
There you go. Okay. All right.
I'm from South Florida, so I like the Marlins, but they're not that good, so it's made me have to just follow like players and teams all around. So I think I like it better that way.
I think that's kind of what the move has been lately, like especially from the younger generation. I noticed. I think it started with basketball, but I think it's already kind of leaking into baseball, and I think that's a credit to the young superstars that we have in the game right now, which is a lot of fun. Are there certain players in the league that people will bring their glove and be like, I want my glove to model this? Like, who's the most popular player if that is the case?
I don't know if we've gotten one yet that somebody put in that request.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, people send in like gloves that are like they're the player's glove, model, but but like as far as that's a good question. I hope someone sends one in.
There you go.
I like that.
We did get one influencer though. I think somebody mentioned like Coach Bougie or something who does catching videos.
Yeah,
he did a break-in video and they referenced that to have it broken in that way.
Yeah,
but I think that's all we've gotten so far.
Man, great stuff. Y'all go check out Glove Refresh tomorrow, Publix Sports Park. Also, go like and share their Facebook videos. Man, are you guys on YouTube and everything else as well?
Yeah, pretty much all the platforms.
If it's social media, just type in Glove Refresh. What a heck of a name, guys! Thanks so much for giving us some of your time this afternoon. Go check them out tomorrow and show them some love on social media. That's going to do it for us today. Y'all have a great rest of your afternoon and lots of football. Braves coming up, or lots of football this weekend. Braves coming up next. Just remember, Jesus loves you. So do I. You'll have a great evening.